Well, I love these earrings so much, but Lord, they're gonna get tangled in my hair every time. Jesus. Let me sit back up here. Let me send this out. Happy Feminine Friday. Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy Feminine Friday. Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Let me send this out. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly too. Because I thought my little iPad alarm was going off. Come on in, come on in. Just send this off. I hope that y'all are well. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Lord, these earrings in my hair. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Today we're going to be talking specifically about when your attraction is performed and not embodied. So this is going to be something that you can utilize in business and in relationships, because normally the things that I talk about, they're transferable, because how you do one thing is normally how you do all things. So come on in, come on in. We're going to have that conversation. Because, yeah, it's about that time. Come on in, come on in, come on in. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a mentor to women of wealth and influence. And specifically what I do is that I support my amazing clients and who are high-performing women. I support them in regulating their emotions, restoring their power so that they can lead, earn, and attract from energetic alignment. So what does that look like really? If we were to look at that tangibly, like, what is the process? So the process looks like this. When they come to me, I help them rebuild their nervous systems, help them rebuild their offers, help them rebuild their influence from a place of softness, a place of sovereignty, and a place of strategic power. So basically, when women come to work with me, they stop working against their feminine design and start working with it. A lot of women that tend to come and work with me are women who earned a lot of their income and their money from basically kind of performing and being in the space of, exhausting themselves, people pleasing, just kind of doing all the things that is not necessary to be able to be successful. And I think people really kind of miss that. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about why when your attraction, is performed and not embodied, what it actually looks like. So I'm going to go through what energetic authority is versus seductive pressure. I'm going to talk about the identity gap between the sales and relationship inconsistency. And then I'm going to talk about how leaky self-trust really repels retention. And we're just really going to dive deep and get into it, because I think a lot of women don't realize the way that you're able to attract better or attract more is your ability to be able to sustain. Okay, so it's very, very vital and very, very important that we talk about this today, because a lot of women are wilding. Y'all not using y'all magnetism right, and you're not getting the things that you truly want and that you truly, truly desire. Okay, so basically, when I support my clients, I help them eliminate burnout in a lot of ways. Like, they don't even have to, they get rid of the hustle mindset so much that it not only becomes applicable in business, that it becomes applicable in life. So women that come to work with me, they do not hustle. Women that come to work with me, we catch bags. We don't chase them, okay? We don't chase, all right? So you're operating from the frequency of if you were a pitcher on a baseball field. You are catching things. You are not chasing things, all right? So again, I'm Elle Antoinette. I'm a mentor to women of health, wealth, and influence. And a lot of my work consists of supporting my clients and getting their energetics together so that they can actually sustain the very things that they claim that they want to attract. Anybody can manifest anything, okay? Anybody can manifest anything. Anybody can manifest anything. Manifestation is easy. A lot of you who are not even believing that you're participating in the manifestation process, you're actually doing that. Because whatever seeds that you're sowing and whatever you're reaping after that, that's basically what you're manifesting. So Voila. If you didn't realize that, hi. So, manifestation is extremely easy. Sustainability is difficult because it requires levels of discipline. It requires levels of consistency. It requires different things. It requires more of you. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people don't want to come up, and a lot of people want more, but they don't want to come up to be able to maintain, to sustain what it is that they're asking for. And this can be something as simple as, oh, I want an additional $10,000. I want to make, I don't know, $200,000 in my business. I want to make $500,000 in my business. Like, all of these things are extremely possible. But if you're not willing to come up, then you're not going to be able to catch the cash flow. And so what I help you do is I help you come up. I help you come up internally, because your internal reality is what creates your external reality. You will only go as high as your beliefs and your programming, okay? You will only go as wide as your circle. So if you were to assess your current circle and to assess your current mindset, how high and how wide are you really growing? Let's say that. How are you growing? Are you growing expansively in the community? Are you growing and raising and evolving within yourself? If those things are not happening, thank you, my love, for these gifts. You are becoming stagnant, and stagnant pushes you into sickness. Stagnant pushes you into a form of slavery, because you don't feel like you have any other choice but to do this said thing, okay? So my position is to support you in coming out of that. I've supported my clients in going from 5 figures to 6 figures. My clients have been able to use my formulas to go from 6 figures to multi 6 figures. And I have one client that, former client, that's literally almost at $1 million. She's still using the formula I gave her, like in 2021. So the thing about it is, it's about you authentically stepping into the fullness of yourself, because only the authentic you can sustain whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, okay? So if you, sustainability in the long game and making sure that you are good in the long term is your thing, then I am your girl. If you want short-term quickness, I'm not the one. If you want transformation, your life change, elevated in all aspects, in your revenue, romantically, in your friendships and all of that, I got you. I can put you in position to lead, earn, and attract from energetic alignment, so you don't have to perform for people to get love, so you don't have to perform for people to get money, so you don't have to perform for people to get anything. You perform due to an issue rooted around validation. That's a childhood issue. See, and this is why when women come to work with me who are in the mark of they've made at least $10,000 in their business and they're trying to make $100,000 in their business, I explain to them that we have to do inner child work here. Inner child work has to be done between your first 10,000 and your first 100,000, because you have to fight against your fears and you have to fight against yourself, your former self. You have to come in and reparent. That's where the reparenting process comes in, because when you come up to $100,000 and you want to go into $500,000 in your business, what's going to happen is that your nervous system has to be regulated, and you ain't got time for your inner child to be coming up making things 10 times worse. You're already trying to position yourself to hold $500,000 in your business, and if you've never touched that and you've never seen anyone around you touch that outside of a 9 to 5, that can be scary initially at first. So you have to have your nervous system regulated for safety, so that you can receive. A regulated nervous system is a nervous system that is comfortable to receive intimacy and income. A lot of women that I meet that come to work with me, they struggle with intimacy and income, and they wonder why, and it's because of the instability of your nervous system. You have not recalibrated it. You have not retrained it, which is why when you come to work with me in the Muse Activator, specifically my 6-week program, the first thing that we do that week is to regulate your emotions, and recalibrate your nervous system immediately. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to receive the things that I'm going to give you in the next following 5 weeks that can potentially put you in position. It's going to put you in position to make more money. It's going to put you in position to attract better community. It's going to put you in position to attract better relationships. It's going to put you in position to become healthier as a woman and more in tune with self as a woman. You can't receive those things if you do not if you are yourself are not a safe space. So if you can't receive the things that I'm trying to give you that are beneficial and that are going to get you to the next level, how are you going to receive intimacy from a man? How are you going to receive income at a high level if you are not a safe space? And a lot of women are walking around here, you are not safe spaces, and yet you are requiring people to give you stability and requiring people to come in and do all these things for you, when in reality, you can't do these things for yourself, and you don't do these things for yourself. You're not an energetic match for that. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into when your attraction is performed and when your attraction is not embodied. This is, I feel like, a really great topic for Feminine Friday because it really supports you in understanding the connection between your revenue and your relationships. If you operate and you have a business, you're familiar and understand the importance of revenue, but you also need to understand the importance of relationships. Because also, if you want to transition from the $500,000 mark going into the $1 million mark, you know what you're going to need? Relationships. You're going to need relationships. So if you don't deal with self at the lower levels of where you are right now, you're going to find yourself struggling when you get up here, and you're going to hit a ceiling at that 500,000 because you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I get past that? All the DIY stops right there. You're going to have to build more relationships that are going to put you in certain rooms, that are going to connect you, give you different perspectives, that are going to mentor you. It requires higher level investment. And by that time frame, when you're there, you already understand the importance of investment. So now we just need to invest in the proper community that can actually put us in position to connect with the proper people. Relationships. Relationships are the new riches. I'm trying to tell you something. Even as this world goes on, because we've entered into a brand new industrial revolution, is just artificial intelligence, but as the world goes on, even people who are in a space of poverty, relationships are going to be important because you're going to have to barter. I'm trying to tell you, we're sitting in a very weird, we're sitting in the calm before the storm. I'm just telling you the truth. You're sitting in a window, and the decisions you make right now are either going to push you towards forward progression, or they're going to push you towards poverty. And even when you get into the state of poverty, relationships are going to be very important because you need to barter, you need different things, but it's hard to build relationships in the state of poverty when you're trying to figure out how you're going to eat, when you're trying to figure out what's the next thing you need to do. So your decisions right now need to be made in a way that are going to push your lineage towards forward progression. Very vital and extremely, extremely, extremely important right now. You don't have time to act. Performance-based behaviors look like people-pleasing, code switching, altering your identity for validation. All of these different type of things. Those are performance-based. And so I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine yesterday, and she was saying, you know what I noticed about these women who are performance-based? They make a whole lot of money. They work in corporate, right? They make a whole bunch of money. And I'm trying to figure out, how did they get away with how did they get away with performing this way and acting and people-pleasing and doing all that when really their character is like this? This is really who they are. And I was like, well, that's easy. That's because they're trained performers. Most of you are trained performers. Hey, Lovey. Most of you are trained performers. You've been trained since childhood. You've been trained to not act a certain kind of way in front of white people. See, let's get into it. You were trained to code switch. You were trained not to embarrass the household by, acting too hood or whatever the case may be. You were told to work twice as hard. You were trained to do all of these things. You were literally trained to be a walking minstrel show. Until you break the curse in the spell, that's legit what is happening. Because why do you have to alter who you are to be able to present in order to get paid? Where is that in scripture? Y'all all right? Last time I checked, it said that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. There's literally a uniqueness about you. Exactly. That caused imposter syndrome in me. Exactly. And I'm so glad that you said that, because imposter syndrome is not even real. It's a curse that you put yourself under. It's a curse that you put yourself under by trying to do something that is not authentically who you are. And eventually the mask gets so tight the way you can't breathe, and you snatch it off. And guess what? Then they can see your face. Now they can see your real face. See, I respect people who come in the gate with their real faces on. I respect people who come in the door with their real faces on. I actually command that. If you ever want to be close to me, if you ever want to work with me, you're going to have to come into the space understanding that vulnerability is a requirement to get close to me. So if you're not willing to allow me to see you, then you won't see me. And I mean, won't see me as in presence, won't see me as in connection, won't see me as in at all. Because the thing is this, there's so many programs and different things that we have been taught and told over the years. Like I said, we've become trained performers. We literally, a lot of us, a lot of women are walking around and they are literally walking minstrel shows. You perform for men, you perform at work, you perform with your friends, but when you get behind closed doors and the real you shows up, you can't fool the universal algorithm. See, the Most High created the universe, and it's an algorithm. So when y'all saying put it out there in the universe and, all of this and all of that, that is very true. Your energetics, your thoughts, your actions, all of those things are going into the universal algorithm, and you're being repaid by that. So even though you may be able to fool people on the gram, even though you may be able to fool people on social media, even though you may be able to fool people around you, but the people who really can see are assessing what they see in your life results, and they are telling a story about you. Do you not know that you're a walking messenger? Oh, you must have missed that when it talked about in scripture how your body is a temple. You're literally a walking messenger. What message are you sending? That's what you have to start asking yourself. Everything I give you is going to come from, thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Everything I give you is going to come from scripture, science, and psychology. It is rooted in scripture, backed up by science. And I can show you a psychological pattern that's going to match. Okay? So what you don't realize is that you need to be rooted and grounded if you want to thrive in these three key areas. Number one, spiritual law. A woman who does not understand spiritual law is a woman who's not ready to create a new reality. In order to change your life, there has to be an internal spiritual shift. Changing your life and deciding that you're going to go work out and lose weight and do that is not necessarily changing your life. Because there are a lot of people who go out here and lose weight, who go out here and get things done so they can lose weight. And guess what? They are, in their mind, they are still the person they were before this took place. And their attitude, their energy sends signal that they still have low self-esteem. And even though they bad in that body, they getting done bad by everybody else. Y'all are missing it. You cannot shift your external reality and think that that is going to change your internal reality. They really tricked y'all with that fake it to make it, huh? This is why a lot of your affirmations don't even work. Because don't you understand this? Affirmations, it literally, do you understand that affirmations have rules? There's laws to that. You understand that? You're not supposed to say things out loud that you don't believe. Saying that you're beautiful 20 times in the mirror when you have not adopted and tattooed on your heart spiritually that you are beautifully and wonderfully made so much to where it is imprinted on your mind. So if a person even tries to call you ugly, if a person even tries to insult the way that you look, you understand that immediately it's a lie. So you don't even take that in as truth. You're not offended. You're not offended. Why are you offended when someone is speaking to you when they don't even understand their own value? They don't understand their own truth. Because if they knew their own truth, they would not even be calling you that, because they would understand that they were beautifully and wonderfully made as well. But the fact that they're even saying that about you speaks to the fact that they are disconnected from their core. And how you let somebody who didn't create you speak on you, berate you, to the point to where you get so caught up in what they said. And next thing you know, you're cognitively ruminating about what they said about you. Who are they? Who is this person? Who is this person in the sight when you really think about it? Who is this person in comparison to the one that created you? It doesn't make any sense. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. So women really have to understand, number one, you got to be rooted in spiritual law. Number two, you have to understand, okay, that you have to understand, number one, spiritual law is important. You have to be rooted in spiritual law. Number two, you have to understand the science of yourself. The reason why women are getting so sick, the reason why women are so stressed, the reason why women are leading when it comes down to heart disease is because you are not guarding your heart above everything else, because from it flows life. You want to get into the truth of it? You lack boundaries, and which is crazy because your heart literally has built-in boundaries around it. Do you understand how hard and how long it takes for you to actually have a heart attack? Do you understand how much has to be happening, beating up on your heart in order for it to defend itself? Because the thing you call a heart attack is the heart finally stepping up and saying, you know what? Square up. That's really what's happening. Why would the Most High put a vessel in your body that would attack you? Your body is literally on the you have an internal universe that defends things that enter into your body that do not belong. But yet you continue to put things in your body that don't belong. And I understand because I've been there. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. I totally get it. So not only are you putting things in your mind that you should not put in your mind, things in your ears that you should not put in your ear that actually tempt, okay? They tempt you. They tempt you in a space to act in such a way that goes against your body, that goes against your very essence. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All praises to the Most High. And I don't think that people really grasp that and people really understand the importance of not working against your feminine design. There's power in you being feminine. There's power in you being able to detach. The reason why you have an attachment style is because you disconnected from your feminine core. If ain't nobody told you, I'm here to tell you. That's the truth of your attachment style. You're disconnected from your feminine core because if you were connected to your feminine core, you would know that the feminine is naturally detached. She's naturally detached, sweetheart. She is. She's not worried about if somebody's calling her, baby, because she's always called on at the right time. You understand? She's not worried about if someone is, wants to disconnect from her because she understands that everything is for her good and is in alignment for her. So if anything that leaves, it's just not for her. She's okay with that. And she also understands that everything on this earth has an expiration date. I don't know why y'all not prepared to wake up every single day and never talk to nobody again, knowing doggone well that people die every day. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Because this is what it tells you in scripture, not to be attached to the things of this world, including people. Y'all think y'all own people just because you get tied up with them, including your children. You don't own nothing. Not even yourself. Not even yourself. And that's why you don't have no control over self and no control in your life. Because you work against your design. You work against your design. So that's the second thing that needs to happen. You need to be in sync with the science of who you are and stop working against your design. The third thing, if you want to be able to thrive in this society as a woman and thrive in your femininity without having to go around here begging men, because a lot of y'all are out here performing for them. Y'all not even being your authentic self, wondering why y'all keep calling in crazy people. But the third thing that's very important is for you to study the psychology of your generational lineage. Y'all look down on the women that came before you, and I don't understand why, when you really should be looking to them, paying attention to the things that they did, following catching the loopholes and the gaps. Okay? Hey, love. You should be doing that so you don't repeat them. But you think you better than them, even though you done went to therapy 12 times, but you still doing the same thing. Your mama used to get her head knocked between a washer and dryer. Now, you don't get your head knocked between a washer and dryer, but this man cheat on you and disrespect you, and you swear up and down you don't like men who cheat. You don't respect men who cheat. You can't be with a man who cheats, but yet this man does you like that. How different are you from the woman that came before you? Why have not you picked up on the fact that the women in your family have struggled with low self-esteem and low value because nobody spoke into them? Why aren't you grasping the fact that something as simple as low self-esteem could literally be a generational curse that you pass down? Y'all so busy focusing on talking about generational wealth, which really is y'all just trying to leave money for your children, that y'all not focusing on the damaging patterns that continue to go throughout your generations that cause your children to make certain decisions. You're not thinking. And you can't do that for your children because you're too busy judging your mama, your auntie, your grandma, and the women that came before you instead of figuring out what's the generational pattern here. What is the pattern that needs to be broken here? So if you want to thrive in a society as a woman, like I said, those three key things are going to be important. Understanding spiritual law. That's the only way you're going to be able to change your life. And that's the only way you're going to be able to create a new reality. Stop working against the science of yourself. Understand the science of yourself so you stop working against your feminine design. Society taught you to work against your feminine design. They did this on purpose, and now you see what's happening. They still get to experiment on you. Oh, you thought they was done experimenting in Tuskegee? Or you thought they was done experimenting when they were taking women's wombs out? What do you think they're doing when it comes down to this whole thing with fibroids? Because do we really want to have this conversation? Why is it that when they get removed, if you have to remove them so much, why is it that they continue to come back? Selah. Think about that. Think about that. Think about the experimentation. Think about not getting to the root of the issue. When something keeps growing back, that means you're not getting to the root of the issue. Why is it that they're not helping you get to the root of the issue and they're just cutting it out and it simply grows back? It's much like shaving. The hair grows back even faster, seems like. The experimentation has not stopped. You really need to understand the science of yourself. You really need to study the psychology of your generational lineage in order for you not to repeat these things. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get into this whole thing with attraction. And I'm saying all of this because all of these things are energetic, centered around what you attract into your space. You can attract bad health. You can attract piss poor relationships. You can attract inconsistent patterns with money. But these things have a root issue that is happening on the inside of you. And if you don't correct that, you will continue to perform all of your life. Women who feel like they have to manipulate men to get money are women who doubt their own ability to be able to create income for themselves. They do. If you feel like you have to lower yourself and perform for a man to be able to get a result, it's not making any sense. You ain't going to be able to keep that up. You're not going to be able to keep up an act. Why do y'all think that y'all great of, like, you're not that great of an actor? Something is going to put you in the pressure cooker and the juice going to come out. So really start dealing with yourself, because attraction, when it is performed and not embodied, it really sets you up. And let me go ahead and explain. Magnetism, which is a beautiful thing that we have, is when you are in your feminine. When you're in your feminine energy is so magnetic. It is so magnetic. It is so attractive. It is so alluring. It calls you in without force. It is very, very powerful. But magnetism without identity is just manipulation with makeup. Magnetism, which is what some women think that they're using to be able to get men, and you're actually using feminine wiles, which is more of the seductive aspect of the feminine. You're using feminine wiles. It's basically your magnetism without identity is just manipulation with makeup on it. And here's the thing that I need you to understand. All women are manipulators. All men at core are exploiters, and all women at core are manipulators. Those two words are not bad words, because there's a light element of that word, those words, and there's a shadow element of that word too. It just depends on what element you're working in. And that's just really the truth of it. Because if you look at manipulation, if you look at exploit by definition on one end, it basically says to make deep productive use of. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing deceptive about that. There's another side of that definition though that also says that you are using some type of tactics heinously or something like that to gain an unfair advantage for your own sake and for your own advantage. See, that is exploitation. If you do not have boundaries, a man will exploit the fact that you don't have boundaries. Okay? When I say that women on the other end, they manipulate, to manipulate by definition, and I normally keep it around me too. To manipulate by definition means basically to manage or utilize skillfully. But on the other side of manipulation, it basically means to control. You know we love good control. Act like you don't. Act like you ain't never tried to control no man. You was young in your 20s, you was playing. Act like it. Act like you ain't never play a game. Act like you ain't never change. Act like you ain't never do some artful thing to gain an advantage over somebody else. Act like you've never emotionally shapeshifted, smiling while you plotting. Yeah. At core, we're manipulators. But this goes back to what it says in scripture, that the man's heart is deceitful. So think about that when you go out here talking about how much of a good person you are, baby. You got the light and the dark. And the problem is a lot of y'all try to play up your light and think we don't see your dark. But we see more of your dark when you're trying to play up that light. We see you. It's very clear. We see you. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these lights. We see you. It's very evident. You are not hiding from anyone. And most importantly, men lie, women lie. Numbers can be crunched, data can be skewed, but energetics never lies, and your energy will always tell on you. Always. Always tell on you. And I need you to understand that. So let's go ahead and get back into it, okay? You've learned, a lot of you as women have learned how to be desirable, but do you feel safe being known? See, a lot of you create a character or a seductive archetype to be able to deal with people, sometimes in business or even when you're dealing with men, because you really don't want to be seen. And this happens a lot with women who are secretly and even loudly attention seeking. Women who are attention seeking in nature, I don't have an issue with them. And y'all really shouldn't have a problem with that either. I'm going to tell you why I don't have an issue with it. I just see it for what it is. Women who are attention seeking aren't necessarily trying to be the center of the room. That's not even so much what it is. They're more so trying to convince people of the perception that they're portraying so that they can pick up what they're putting down instead of picking up who they truly are. So they do things to draw attention to themselves so that they are not actually seen for real. Ha. See, I don't want you to see me. So I'm going to put on this other persona so you can see her and think that I am her. But here's the thing about that, right? There's nothing wrong with having an alter ego if that's really who you are. But the problem comes into play when that's not really who you are and you begin to attract things under that false pretense. When you attract things under false pretenses, you can't sustain those things. You can't handle those things. And those things tend to normally come back and harm you. So a lot of women have really learned how to be desirable, but you really got to ask yourself, do you really feel safe being known? Like seriously, do you really seriously want to be known? Because that's the only way clients are going to support you, or even men are going to support you. You're going to have to be vulnerable enough to tell the truth. Y'all don't want to tell the truth. And I don't understand that. I mean, well, I do understand it because you feel like you're going to be shamed for it. But if you can understand that everyone has something and you accept yourself to the fullest, and I'm going to tell you something. When I got to the point and I realized that everybody got something, just not, yours may not be on camera, yours may not be on Front Street, yours might not be on display, but everybody has something that they're dealing with, and that other people don't get to judge me based on their opinion and their perception. Baby, I stopped giving a damn. And that's really like the issue with a lot of women. Like, y'all care too much because you're so worried about putting on this perception that's not even real. Something that you can't even really sustain. You really have to make it make sense. All that faux personality and nothing real is ever coming from it. We really got to shift that. I want you to really ask yourself, are you building chemistry in your brand, but feeling ghosted after the sale, or even in your relationships? Are you building that? Or are you being ghosted because people are really figuring out who you truly are? And I'm talking about clients. I'm talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about people who want to connect with you in business. If that's what's happening to you, you're not attracting, you're performing. Absolutely, it makes people not want to be around you. You're not attracting, you're performing. And it is costing you. You know what it's costing you? Let me tell you the 3 C's. It's costing you conversion. Baby, and that's where your cash flow coming in. And blood is the life of your business. So what are we doing right now? So it's costing you conversion, which means that you're not getting the cash flow. It's causing you consistency, which means that you're not getting the results that you're looking for. And it's costing you connection, which means that you're not creating the relationships you need that can actually support you. That's what happens when you perform. Like she just said, people don't want to be around you. They don't want to be around that. So let's get into the second aspect of this, which is energetic pressure versus energetic authority versus seductive pressure, because there's a difference. And a lot of women tend to operate in seductive pressure when they're dealing with people, when they're dealing with business, and it just doesn't sell, because seductive pressure is still force. It's still force. It's still fake. And so energetically, it's not going to be received because, like I said, men lie, women lie. Numbers can be crunched. Data can be skewed. But energetics never lie, and your energy going to always tell on you, baby. So you might as well do the real work, okay? Do the real work to get yourself together, because seductive pressure can only take you so far. Believe me, I've done it. The reason why I can tell you is because I know. And I've been able to support my amazing clients in being able to attract better partners, make more money, get healthier. Okay? So I'm not telling you something I'm new to. I'm telling you something I'm true to. You have to get to the root of self. You can't keep walking around here thinking that, oh, it's everyone else. Attraction is a science. Attraction, it literally is science in a mirror. When I begin, and I'm a nerd, so when I began to really study science and really understand like how attraction is nothing but science, I learned how to attract everything I want. Attraction is nothing. Management and sustainability is everything. Attracting things is the easiest thing, just like manifesting. Very easy. Sustaining and managing is where the issue tends to come in with people. Okay? Hi, Rocky, my love. So people really don't realize that, and they really need to start paying attention. So energetic authority versus seductive pressure. Anyway, Energetic authority is grounded. Energetic authority is slow, not in a rush. Energetic authority is regulated, right? Emotionally. All of these things are happening when we're talking about energetic authority. When we're talking about seductive pressure, on the other hand, which is force. So, energetic authority is power. When you hear those words, when you hear grounded, you think about having your power. You think about slow, you think about not being rushed. You think about regulated, you thinking about not being reactive. Okay? So all of these things symbolize power. So what we're talking here is power versus force. If you are a forceful woman, you are operating in your masculine. If you are a powerful woman, you are leaning into your feminine energy. You understand what that looks like. And feminine energy power is, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. Feminine energy is way more powerful than masculine energy. Well, I'll say this. Feminine energy is a lot more, how can I say this? It's a lot more snatching to me than masculine power. Masculine power is very forceful, it's very physical, it's very, you're going to feel it, of course. There's something about feminine energy power that is going to have a long lasting impact on you spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally that literally can alter your reality. Can alter your reality. Okay? And I'm gonna say this too. Men can use, and the reason why a lot of women get tricked is because men use feminine energy power on you. And they're able to use it on you. They're able to call back power and all that on you because you don't use it. If you were in your feminine energy and in that power, let me tell you something. The law of polarity, which is science. I'm telling you, I'm a nerd. So everything I'm giving you, it come from, it tell you in scripture, so a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, say lie. Science literally tells you in the law of polarity that opposites are going to attract. If you are calm, have you ever noticed when someone, how insane it looks and energetically, how people are in control when they can keep their peace when people are trying to be chaotic? Imagine somebody trying to like go off on you and roast you and like really broil you out, and you just kind of like, I don't know why you're acting like that. I mean, I don't understand. See, y'all like to call it gaslighting, or you say that narcissists try to do this to you. But see, what that is a power tactic. Y'all don't know power. That's feminine energy. Feminine energy is to have a soft answer that comes after wrath. See, y'all don't know how to move. You too busy trying to bark and go rah, rah, rah. You're not realizing that you keep your power by sitting back. Because what has shown me, and energy is transferable. It can't be destroyed. So if I say something, and this is how a lot of you are triggered by so-called narcissists or so-called gaslighters, when reality is just power dynamics and power moves. And it's about whether or not you can be in power or you are in power. When someone says something to trigger you, and what that is a projection. And because you're missing the fact that it's a projection, you're taking a projection personally. And when you take a protection personally, and you begin to become reactive, what that person just did to you was transfer their projection into you. And this is why when you start going off, they look back and they smile. They do it. Can I give you a perfect example of that? Y'all ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna tell you the absolute truth. There's a clip that's going around, and I think I've talked about it beforehand, with one of the representatives in Tennessee. I want to say his name is Justin Pearson, maybe. And there's a video where there is a man, and apparently the man said something about Justin's brother. His brother had unalived himself, and it was around guns or something like that, but he said something triggering. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Somebody released that video. When he became reactive to him talking about his brother, somebody released a video with no words. And see, this is how you got to be thinking. See, like they say, from afar, they can't tell who the fool is. There were people trying to hold him back. That man who made that comment was sitting in that chair like this. You know what that energy says? You ain't gonna touch me. You know not to touch me. I got you exactly where you want. You acting exactly how I wanted you to act. You doing it on camera too. You can't keep your emotions in check. You can't keep yourself together. How are you gonna lead a people? How can they trust your emotional instability? See, people don't want to keep it real and have these kind of conversations, but it's the truth. You are so easily provoked. Why don't you have the expectation that people? I don't understand. If you call yourself, and I'm switching with this, if you call yourself being rooted in scripture and rooted in being a believer, and you call yourself being this individual, why don't you expect people to attack you? Why don't you expect people to immediately attack your physical appearance, because that's a cheap shot? Why don't you expect people to attack your character? Why don't you expect these things? Why don't you know that these things come with the assignment? Why are you taking these projections personally instead of keeping your power? Why? Because you want to be liked, you want to be validated, you want to be approved, you want to be clapped for. Wake up. You out here moving in such a way you're powerless. Crazy. Hey Joseph, crazy work. Energetic authority is power because it is grounded, it is slow, it is regulated. Sweetheart, when somebody come into a space and call themselves saying something about me, the first thing I'm going to do, the minute you open your mouth on me, the first thing I'm going to do, hi, I love you. The first thing I'm going to do is look at you. See, I'm taking a breath and I'm letting you digest exactly what it is that you're saying to me. See, I want you to see, I don't have to fill in. The feminine doesn't have to fill in the gap with words. Silence is power. So I'm going to look at you first. Would you mind repeating that for me? Because I don't think that I clearly understand exactly what it is that you're trying to communicate with me. And I want to make sure that I'm not missing what you're saying. Do you mind repeating that for me? Because see, you're going to have to, I want you to explain your own stupidity. See, I want you to run back your own I want you to run back your own projection. See, what I'm doing, I'm a mirror. Huh? Because it's a cheap shot for me to turn around and talk about the way you look. It's even a cheaper shot for me to use my spiritual gifts and tell you what I see. But I would much prefer for you to speak. Since you know everything. I like that. See, I ain't one of them. You can't take my power. I have to willingly give it to you, baby. That's the thing about me. And even when it comes down to an act of submission, see, men can't control me. Submission is a giving of power. It's a giving of power. You can't take my power, sweetheart. You have to show me something so wonderful that I want to yield my power toward you and into you so that you can make deep productive use of, because that is what exploitation means when you're doing it in the light side. See? Because if I give you my power, that means that you are the type of man that understands and operates above his carnal nature, above his own advantage. You make deep productive use of the wonderful things that come into your life. So if I give you my power, the use that you're going to make of it is going to catapult. Because I ain't got no little power. I have the kingdom of heaven within me. Point blank, period, the end. And that is ultimate power. So the thing is this, I don't have to perform because and here's the thing, when you get in your feminine and you truly understand, you don't have to perform. You don't adhere to a man. Well, if you don't do this, you love me. I don't see, you know why I don't have to perform? Because it's always going to be another woman who's going to perform. I don't ever have to perform for me. Because somebody out here who is not risen above their authentic nature is always going to perform for him. So you can't manipulate me with, if you love me and I'm going to go get this from somebody else, I'm going to tell you go get it. I'm going to open the door for you. To walk out there and get it. Because I don't mind. It's always going to be somebody else willing to perform, baby. Not she, not me. And I hate that for her. Because here's the thing, even when it comes down to performing, Applause is only temporary. Applause is only temporary, sweetheart. When you get done performing, applause is very temporary. They're not appreciating the artwork and the things that you've poured into, and that was how they was a part of your heart and soul. They were entertained. And when they were done being entertained, they clapped for you. That's what performance gets you. So, energetic authority over everything. Let's get into seductive pressure. Seductive pressure is often what I like to call a compensation pattern. You know how some people say, well, he's trying to overcompensate for this. Yeah, seductive pressure is force. It's actually a compensation pattern. It's the overuse of your voice. Let me make your voice a little bit lighter so you can be accepted. Code switch so people will be able to accept you. Huh? Let me overcompensate by talking like this so I can make sure. Now, if that's really how you talk, hey, no problem. Be yourself. Let me be clear when I'm saying this. Be yourself. But if this is not who you are, altering your voice, altering all these things for some form of compensation to prove you're not one of them is crazy. It's the equivalent to a man saying to you, everybody left me. And here you go stepping up to the challenge, putting your cape on, talking about, I'll never leave you. Not realizing that everybody left him because he was from hell. Hello. But no, you got to prove your point. Seductive pressure is often, like I said, a compensation pattern where you have to overuse your voice, overuse your presence. You showing up everywhere. Why are you showing up at these folks' house? Why are you showing up in spaces to get attention? See, you showing up in spaces, even spaces online, to get attention when you really don't even want to be seen. Because if you wanted to be seen, you'll be vulnerable. You'll tell the truth. So you can get the support that you're looking for. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to play the game. You want to overuse your voice, the use of your voice. You want to, overuse when it comes down to your presence. You want to manipulate emotionally so that you can create some form of a connection instead of really getting clarity. That's seductive pressure. That's seductive pressure. That's force. Trying to sleep with somebody to get them to do what they want to do, baby. If they want to do it, I ain't performing, okay? Because it's always going to be somebody who's going to perform, and it's very sad because it's really beneath you, and nobody appreciates a person. The hardest working person is not the one who gets paid the most, and it's not the one who's rewarded. Y'all remember in 2020 when they had that man at Burger King? He was working there for 30 years, and they gave him a pen, and everybody was going off talking about he deserved more than that. Did he? Did he deserve more than that, or did he do his time at a company and corporation that don't care about him? Because these corporations and companies don't care about you. That's why you got to care about yourself. That's why you got to elevate yourself. That's why you have to grow and figure out what works best for yourself. Y'all are missing it. Y'all want corporations and people to care about you when you don't even care about yourself. You won't even take care of yourself, but you want somebody else to take care of you. Make it make sense. Don't get on my nerves with that. Be for real. You don't have a standard for yourself, but you got requirements for somebody else. Girl, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Because it's not making any sense. Trying to force people and seduce people into doing things for you and getting things done. Girl, it ain't working. That's why it ain't selling, and that's why you ain't getting the support that you want. If you are selling or selling from your edges instead of from your essence, it's going to feel chaotic and not clean. And I want you to really ask yourself this: where are you using seductive pressure in your life as safety, okay, instead of sovereignty? Where are you doing this in your brand and in your relationships? Where are you out here trying to overuse your voice, overuse your presence, overuse your emotion to create connection instead of being clear? Let me tell you something. When you draw the line and you clear, people come to you. When you draw the line and you're clear, people will come to you. You don't have to chase nothing. As soon as you be like, tell that man no, I said no. Yeah, he may go and try to find something easy, but in his mind, he can't get over the fact that you told him no, which is why he keep coming back, because he wants to win. How dare you tell me no? To no to them is to lose. What you mean no? Huh? What you mean I can't just call you and come get you today? What you mean I gotta call you on Sunday to make sure that I schedule? But if that's something he really wants, he's intrigued, he's challenged, guess what he gonna do? Come back on Sunday and be like, hey, can we make it make sense? Where are you trying to use seductive pressure as a safety mechanism instead of being sovereign in your branding and your relationships? Now let's get into the identity gaps of within sales and relationships, because this is kind of where things are happening. So let me give you a bit of these symptoms, okay? If you're in business, let's just say your sales start to drop when you're emotionally off, because love and money sit on the same frequency. So if you are not completely in love with self, if you are not completely in love with your business, if you are not completely in love with what it is that you're offering, if you are not in love with creating impact, if you are not in love with serving, then guess what? Your finances are going to reflect that. Energetically, the money that you're trying to bring is going to reflect that, because money only is going to respond to high vibrational state, value, and alignment. Okay? So sales drop off when you're feeling emotionally off. Content feels magnetic, but it doesn't convert. Like, you're creating amazing content, but it doesn't seem like anyone is really buying in. Or you're not really feeling clear on who you are when you're selling. You're trying to sell based on what somebody else told you to do, a different type of persona, and that really doesn't work for you. Okay? Or you may be feeling like relationships feel like very hot and intense at first, right? But they fade quickly. It's like you come in, it's like the really fast intensity and all that, and then everything just kind of slows down. That's you confusing intensity with intimacy. And that symbolizes that your nervous system is comfortable with intensity because it's used to the instability of things, but it's not used to actually being intimate, being vulnerable, being seen. A lot of people confuse intimacy with sex. It's deeper than that. And y'all really have to grasp that understanding. Okay? When your identity doesn't match your influence, your business will become a pressure chamber. You may call in things or more things than you can actually hold. Okay? And the same thing happens for you when it comes down to love. When your identity doesn't match your influence, your relationship becomes a pressure chamber. Okay? It does. You start calling in things that you really can't manage. I wish, because I keep it real about it. I wish more women kept it real about being wives. I don't like how y'all don't tell the truth. I don't like how y'all don't tell the full truth. I don't like how, because I tell the truth, because I'm divorced and marriage. I don't like how people don't tell the truth about marriage and motherhood, because I feel like if you told the full truth about marriage and motherhood, women would have to really assess if if one of these are actual assignments for them, or if this is something that they're just doing based on what they see, based on what other people telling them that they should be doing, because there are a lot of women out here who hate being married and who hate motherhood. And that is unfair to the families that they've positioned themselves to be in. That's very unfair. So I wish that more women would be very honest about that process, because being married, and here's the thing, when you are married as a wife, you basically become the thermostat. Okay? You become the thermostat of the home, which means you become the temperature of the home. When you are unregulated, when you are all over the place, when you are this and you are that, the entire home, the energetics of the home is going to pick that up. The home is actually going to reflect that. This is why, okay, a lot of women struggle to be able to maintain, and they are burning out because they have signed up for something that truthfully they could not manage. They have signed up for something truthfully that really was not in alignment with them. It was literally a planted idea. Okay? And I need y'all to really start assessing and asking women for wisdom, and understand that relationships itself, it says in scripture, it's better to be single. You know why? Because when you're coming into relationship in marriage with people, life has its own collective set of problems. That person is coming in with their own selective issues and problems. If you are not a problem solver, if you are not interested in doing teamwork, if you are not interested in having times when you got to die to self, okay, did you hear what I said? Because when you go before marriage, you understand that that's an altar, right? You understand that altars have sacrifices. That's what an altar is. It's where you come to sacrifice. What do you think you're sacrificing? You think you're going up there just to say vows? Girl, don't piss me off. It is a sacrifice. If you're not prepared to sacrifice, you need not walk up there. You need not walk up there. Y'all have it very twisted and very confused. And you need to wake up. Marriage is a team project. If you don't like doing your own homework, then how do you think that you are going to get an assignment with somebody else and work together on a group project? Don't piss me off. You don't even want to do nothing for yourself. You don't even want to do nothing for yourself. Wake up. But got all these demands for somebody else. And then, like I said, you're coming to this altar and it's a sacrifice. It is one of the biggest sacrifices. And then on top of that, y'all take that sacrifice lightly, go into those scenarios, and then you want to bring children into that? How unfair is that? How unfair is that? You don't want to die to self, and then you want to say, got the nerve to say, don't let nobody play with my child because I'll die behind them. But you won't die to self. You won't live for them. Because living for them and living in the element of a family element means that a part of you has to die. Do you understand a part of you dies at that altar when you go get married? Y'all miss that. So before you enter into serious commitments and covenants like that, lifetime, that can impact your lifetime, your bloodline, I need you to take joining bloodlines a little bit more serious, because y'all don't. I need you to really think about when you are joining bloodlines, you need to think. Y'all ain't thinking enough for me. And a lot of blame is going out here, but y'all ain't thinking enough. There are always signs. There are always things. Ain't nobody. Let me tell you something. Y'all love to say how people pretend with you. And let me tell you one thing. One thing that people can never play. They can't play you. Nobody can play you without your permission, your participation, or the fact that you ain't paying attention. Did you ask the Most High about that person before you got with them? Don't piss me off. Before you even went on the first date, did you ask for things to be revealed to you? So even if you are so enamored by this individual that you don't miss anything that's going to potentially break your heart, throw you off task, mess up your life. Because it literally tells you in scripture, if you ask in James, if you come confidently and you ask the Most High for anything, any form of wisdom that is going to be given into you, and it don't matter what kind of state you in. If you ask for wisdom and you want it for real, it will be given to you, but you will be held responsible for what you get. And see, you don't ask because you don't want nobody to tell you no, because you think you know better than the one that created you. So go off. And that is why you get the results that you want to get, that you get in your life. Because you move and you lean into your own understanding. You know better. You know enough when you know nothing at all. Coming into the truth of wisdom, when women say to me, oh, you're so wise, even in all of my wisdom, I still know nothing. Do you understand that? True wisdom is truly understanding that in everything that you think that you know, any form of knowledge that you've acquired, you really know nothing. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I know nothing at all. And you leaning to your own understanding is what a lot of you got. You out here thinking that you just need to... Baby, y'all out here going before altars, making all these plans at weddings, not realizing that you are walking to an altar to sacrifice because a part of you is supposed to die there. Y'all are not about that life. It is very real. It is very real. I did it for 8 years. And should I do it again? I got a better understanding. It ain't for play. It's for grown folks. And it is a power tool. To get married and to join bloodlines is a power move. It is a wealth building tool. Y'all out here laying down with... Let me go to this next thing. Okay? Let me go to this next thing because I'm not even finna do it no more. Understand. You need to be thinking. You need to be thinking. I'm so serious. Okay? Again, let's talk about the mirror, what happens when you're in this, you have these identity gaps, okay? You will attract partners, you will attract clients who feel incredible in the beginning. They're going to feel great, right? But they don't stay, the clients nor the partners. Why? Because they were magnetized by your performance and not by your presence. You ever heard the thing that said he didn't waste your time, he got to know you and he ain't like you? You ever heard the saying that says he didn't waste your time, he got to know you and he just didn't like you? Let's go back to what I just said. Because it's the science version, but I'm just telling you. I'm just breaking it down for you, okay? So, again, you attract partners and clients who feel incredible in the beginning. But they don't stay. Why? Because they were magnetized by your performance and not your presence. They got to know you and they didn't like you because you wasn't even being the real you. Who are you when no one is watching your stories or texting you back? Would you still trust your brand if you couldn't sell for a month? Would you still trust your value if no one was mirroring it back to you? That last question really needs to have you say line. Would you trust your value if no one was mirroring it back to you? The only way some of you trust the fact that you have any value is when someone speaks life into you. You that dead? You that dead that they got to speak? You that dead that you can't move, that somebody has to speak into you in order for you to live? Oh, okay then. Leaky self-trust repels retention. Okay? Leaky self-trust, it repels retention. Clients don't stick because you're holding their safety instead of your own. Okay? Partners pull away when you perform instead of actually embody. Self-trust is the true onboarding strategy in both business and in love. FYI, because everything I teach you, you can apply in business, in life, and relationships, because normally how you do one thing is how you do all things, sweet love. And see, a lot of us miss that. We truly do. If your nervous system isn't rooted, your clients are going to feel that instability. Even if your content is fire, like your content can be really hitting, but if your nervous system struggles to receive and see safety in the form of calm cash flow or calm intimacy, right? Calm income and calm intimacy, it's always going to be an issue no matter how fire your content is. Okay? Your partner is going to actually feel that too, whoever you're dealing with. Even if the chemistry is real, they're going to be able to feel that it's something off and it's not safe. Embodiment is not an aesthetic. It's not. It's an energetic contract. It is you coming into agreement with your mind, your heart set, your willpower, okay? You're coming into agreement. To have a contract means to come into agreement. The reason why a lot of you struggle to come into energetic contract is because you are not in agreement. Your mind saying one thing, your heart saying something else, and you doing something completely different. There is not alignment there. There is not agreement there. And how can two walk together if they don't agree? So if there is no alignment there, there is no proper execution. And if there's no proper execution, there is more performance. If there's more performance, you will attract things under false pretenses that you cannot sustain. Okay? Now, a lot of women have done a really good job of becoming a master of drawing men in, drawing clients in, drawing people in, just in general. But you can't hold the experience, okay, when your performance ends. When your performance ends. Exactly. Marriage is a contract and a covenant, meaning you coming to agreement. You got a legal agreement and a spiritual agreement. Okay? A lot of women have to understand that you don't need more magnetism. You need more of you. Being you is what's sustainable. I always tell women all the time, authenticity is what gets you into the room. However, your character is what keeps you in the room. Your character is what keeps you in rooms. The reason why you're seeing a lot of things happening with celebrities and different things like that is that their character has kicked them out of the room. Yes. Now, and let's get into this aspect of it. Yes, there are people who will always put their foot on your neck and will always remind you of your place in your space. But I need us to understand that you can't go out here playing certain games that certain people play. Because the way this society is set up, there are things set in place to be able to protect them. They're not going to protect you. So the fact that you think that you can play them games that them same folks playing is ridiculous. Because the minute that you get high up and the minute and that's the thing, as you begin to grow and things happen for you, you begin to become more confident. But there's a very fine line between confidence, arrogance, and cocky, right? So when you get to the state of cocky, not even arrogance, when you get to the state of cocky, this is when you really just stop caring most of the time about other people. And that is normally the spot where you get clipped. And that's what you're seeing happening with a lot of celebrities. Yes, they have done all these vile things. Yes, they may have done all these different things. But the real lesson at hand is, you got beside yourself. So let me show you and remind you who you are. Let me remind you and show you who I think that you are. Oh, you thought I was your friend while you was doing all this stuff and you was cool for all these years? Let me show you what's up. But see, if you don't have these character issues, if you self-correct, if you self-govern, if you keep people around you who correct you, who not afraid to tell you that you out of order and things that if you keep yourself grounded and rooted, guess what you're going to do? Stay in power. But the minute you allow yourself to come out of character, to compromise your ethics and your morals, you position yourself to be played with down the line. And one thing for sure, two things for certain, you cannot evade spiritual law. See, rules are fake because there's always an exception to the rule. Okay? The legal system is of the law, but it is not law. Law is the law. When I say the law of polarity, if there is north, there must be south. If there is east, there must be west. See, we talking for what it is. We're talking law. This is why when I explain to people, I had a conversation in my Instagram stories last week, and I was asking people, do you believe in right and wrong? Or do you believe in right and wrong? Do you believe in good and evil? Or do you believe in just and unjust? Growing up, I used to believe in right and wrong. But, however, right and wrong is subjective. Why? Because it might be right in my house that if you hit me, I'm finna get up on you and hit you back. But if you go outside and I actually hit you and I attack you, it's wrong according to the legal system. So again, right and wrong is subjective depending on what's happening. So let's go ahead down to good and evil. There are people who will categorize themselves as good when it literally tells you in scripture that basically our righteousness is like filthy rags, our hearts are deceitful, and because a lot of us are very naive to our nature and our human core, we will label ourselves as good people and then wonder why we keep getting done in. How are you such a good person, but you're not good to yourself that you keep allowing people in your space that do you in? It's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. And so we really have to think about these things. Are you truly a good person, or are you a good person based on your perception of what you believe good to be? There we go. And this person is evil because they made a decision that you didn't agree with. Again, see, here we go again. Good and evil. So now we come down, which is why I don't submit to those, because again, subjective. But when you come to just and unjust, we talking law, baby. We talking straight law. We ain't talking legal system. We ain't talking rules. We ain't talking none of that. We're talking law. We're talking about what's just, and we're talking about what's unjust according to law, which can't be negotiated, can't be imitated, none of that. It just is what it is. And this is why I say women should, number one, be rooted in spiritual law, because that is the way that you create your brand new reality for yourself. Without it, you're going to struggle. You might be able to manifest a few things, but you're not going to be able to create longevity. You're not going to be able to sustain or manage. And that's going to eventually become a problem for you. Okay? So, this is why this is just so extremely important, because we talk about this in my program, right? So we talk about this in my 6-week program called the Muse Activator. In week 5, we actually let your identity catch up to your influence, okay? We build a rhythm for you, or support you in building a rhythm that does not burn you out or betray your truth. A lot of women betray themselves to go out here and get money. I just don't believe you have to do that. The feminine and women who do that, who burn themselves out or betray their truth to get love, to get intimacy or income, usually are women who are completely disconnected from their identity of understanding that if you are in your feminine nature and you are a woman, you are a muse. Feminine women are muses. Do you understand that? A muse, by definition, is a source of inspiration. So if you are a source of inspiration, that means you inspire people to invest in you. Ding, 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 ding. Invest money. Ding, 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 ding. Invest time. Ding, 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 ding. Invest resources. They invest in what they are inspired by. You ain't even tapped into the way that you're inspirational, and you're wondering why people don't invest in you. You don't invest in yourself. You don't invest in yourself to investigate how you inspire. So why would people see the value? Why would people see the asset when you don't see the asset and the value within yourself? That is where a lot of women truly struggle. They struggle a lot with that. So we support them in week 5 of the Muse Activator, because it's extremely important that you anchor your identity in your nervous system safety, that you replace the whole seductive pressure with sovereignty, okay? And that you build a brand presence that converts power, not performance. People are tired of the actors. This is why people are not enthralled or enamored with celebrities anymore. If you really pay attention, people are not super enthralled or enmeshed in celebrities as much as they used to. They're going to talk about their business, but they're not as enmeshed as they, because they understand that they're performers. They're realizing that they're fake. One of my favorite people is like, I really like these people better, these celebrities better, when I didn't know their business. Like, the performance in the veil is off. Cat Williams said, he said, everything going to be revealed. Now we done open the door and this just keeps coming, and I wish it would stop. But this is where we are. People are sick of the performance based movements. They're sick of it. They're tired of it. They want authenticity. They want truth. They want to know if you can solve their problems. They want to know what's next. And you're sitting on your truth by performing. And it's really crazy. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. Okay? So in this particular program, like I said, it's a 6-week program. FYI, for those who know and don't know, the program is $9.97. You can get it with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay. It's 6 weeks. I've had so far this week about three women to enroll. One from Australia. I have another young lady who is amazing. She actually did some. She's done a lot of singing and different things like elevation worship. So a lot of women that have been really coming into the program are women who have been in scenarios where, you know, they are inspiring people and all these different type of things, but they are not energetically ready to receive the type of money that they want to make. And so I'm going to support them in those 6 weeks and getting them structured so they can receive that type of money. I've had clients as recently I had one client who took the quiz that's in Monetize Like a Muse. So I have a course called Monetize Like a Muse where you get 10 days of Telegram coaching that comes with me too. And it teaches you how to monetize in a way where you do not have imposter syndrome. It teaches you 3 monetizable streams of income or ways that you can be able to make money. It lets you know how to monetize your story, how to monetize your skill set, how to monetize your signal. And so she took that quiz. I gave it to her on 5/15. She closed her first high ticket client on 5/30. Money is everywhere. So people saying, oh, it's not this, is not that. And that particular quiz that I created, it's an AI bot. It's about a $10,000 bot. It literally positions you and teaches you, okay, this is what you can do to be able to make anywhere from $10K to $100,000. So if you're trying to make your first $100,000 or your next $100,000 and you don't want to do it from a performance base, you want to do it from something that is authentic, then taking that specific quiz in the Monetize Like a Muse course is going to support you in doing so, because there's no such thing as imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is for people who are pretending to be something that they're not. That's why they feel like an imposter. They feel like this is not who they really are, who they're portraying online. And no, you can't keep that up. One thing about me, I don't teach people to pretend to be anything other than themselves. I teach people to operate according to authenticity, integrity, and all of those things, because I think that is what's long lasting. I teach sustainability. So if you want the long game, I'm your girl. If you want quick cash, I can teach you how to make, you can watch my free content and learn how to make quick cash. But if you want to work with me directly, that means you want sustainability. You want long term. And as a woman, you need to learn how to monetize like a muse instead of working hard, because all those working hard systems, which y'all not understanding, is the reason why they created these robots and all these things, which is on target, it's on brand. The reason why is because you don't have the work ethic. A lot of you during the COVID time frame, they realized how people really didn't want to work. People don't want to do this. The whole thing is, oh, I'm burnt out, oh, self-care, oh, this, oh, that. So they started really ramping up on creating these robots to be able to replace you, which is why they're saying a lot by 2027, a lot of your jobs and things are going to be replaced by AI. By 2030, there's not going to be such a thing as a 9-to-5. It's going to be very different. So if you're not prepared, if you don't have skill sets, if you don't know how to monetize like a muse, and like I told y'all this 2 years ago, and now you're seeing it happen right now. And I'm not kidding. The future belongs to the creatives, the innovators, and the observers. And if you are not figuring what lane you fit in and how you can make more money, you need to get monetized like a muse. Because all that working hard, all your degrees, none of that stuff is going to matter in about 4 years. I'm trying to tell you something without telling you something. Are you not paying attention to how things are shifting? You have creative and witty inventions in your very being. You need to lean into those instead of performing, so that you can really bring in the type of income you need to bring in, and so that you can conserve your energy and preserve your value. Okay? That's very important and extremely vital. So if you want more information on the Muse Activator and you want to come into the Muse Activator, you would DM me the word activate. I'm going to send you the link for payment. If you want to read more information on the Muse Activator, you would send me the word Muse and I will send you a link to be able to review it. At the end of the link, you can click to be able to go ahead and start. Once you make your payment, you're going to get your contract within 24 hours, and then you're going to get your pre-work 48 hours after that. Once you get your pre-work and you work your pre-work, you're going to come into community. I always tell women all the time, if you want to make more money, if you want to get more solidified and get yourself together, you need to be in proper community, because talking to your friends about your business when they don't have a business and they don't understand or they have a lack mindset makes no sense. You need to be in community, and it's going to require you to invest, okay? So this is you investing in yourself so that you can inspire more investments. And in order to do that, you have to activate your inner muse. If you want more intimacy and you want more income, you have to activate your inner muse, which is a source of inspiration. You literally become walking art. And a lot of you don't realize that you already are that, and you're not in tune with that frequency, which is why you're getting dishonored, disrespected, and not getting the things that you desire and you want, okay? So that's the first option. If you want the Muse Activator. The second option, you can get monetized like a muse. If you want to go in, monetized like a muse is I can't think. You have to DM me the word. Monetized like a muse, excuse me. It comes with the course, and it comes with all of my methodologies on basically how you can be able to make money by just basically monetizing your authentic self instead of having to perform or do anything else. That comes with the 10 days, 14 days of Telegram coaching with me. So not only do you get the course, but we're going to figure out and pan out exactly what it is that you're wanting to do. Okay. Because we're going to have like a short little 30-minute one-on-one. Once we have that one-on-one, we're straight marketing and pushing everything for the next 10 days, because I want you to see a shift within the first 30 days. 30 to 60, I need a shift. Depending on how hard or how serious you come in, you could have a result similar to how Kendra's was. It didn't take her long. She didn't have to revamp a whole bunch of stuff to be able to attract the client, okay? The Monetize Like a Muse is $4.97. You can click the link in the bio to get access to that, okay? And you get it with Klarna Firm and Afterpay as well. For women who have already built their businesses, but you're exhausted and you're tired and you're trying to figure out like, okay, I know I need to redo everything in business. I need to just kind of like a reset. I need a soft power reset. There's a free series that I have. It's an email course. But if you're not going to write these things down, don't even waste your time. It's called the Soft Power Reset course. You click the link in the bio, you can get access to it. It's 4 emails over the next 4 days that's literally breaking down how you can fix certain areas and spaces in your life so that you can start receiving more intimacy and income, okay? So it helps you regulate your energy so you stop seeing success as, safe, or feeling unsafe. It helps you reclaim your emotional clarity and your identity stability. It helps you lead from sovereignty, not seduction. It helps you rewire your relationship to holding long term, okay, both in business and in relationships. So it really, really supports you, okay? Being a past client of L, you give in the classes 101. I'm in a new tax bracket. Rock, let me tell you something. When I was Rocky, I need an update too, so please inbox me so we can have a one-on-one. When Rocky first came to me, it was really exciting because at first it was so funny. She thought it was gonna be a scam because I had to cancel the class because I had something that happened. And when she ended up coming to class, she had made, talked at the end, and she was saying how, at first I was like, oh, I hope I didn't get scammed. But she was like, I'm so glad that I'm here. And she spoke blessings over me. And it was just really, really amazing in my Income to Intimacy masterclass. And then after that class, we ended up having, because I missed the class, I offered, I think, one-on-ones. So I ended up giving her a complimentary one-on-one. In our one-on-one, we worked her product and her service to getting into 4 figures. Baby, 3 weeks later, Rocky was like, okay, hold on. The money's coming in fast. I've already made $8,000. And on top of that, somebody just offered me another $6,000, but I had to tell them to hold on. So she basically had clocked in sales offers up to $14,000 in literally less than 3 weeks. And literally, like she said, in a new tax bracket. So, and yes, Rocky, I need this update because I'm super excited to see you in here. So yeah. Absolutely amazing. Monetize Like a Muse or the Muse Activator is going to get you right. Sweet loving. Now, there's another offer that I did. And I'm going to bring it back because it's had such great results so far. And these are the feminine strategy, sales strategy sessions. And in these sessions, the women get a quiz to see exactly what's blocking their energy and sales, like where they're operating from, like what exactly are the sales blocks. And so then we're going to have a conversation around that. I'm going to support you in creating a strategy. So for example, I had a strategy session with a client who had made over $400,000 already in her business, but she was feeling really insecure because, she went into a partnership and some things shifted and changed. And so when we got done, I ended up helping her revamp and going into a different direction to be able to support her to go back. Because I'm like, you want $500,000? You've already made $400,000. This is how we're going to close this gap. Let's get it. Okay. So if that is where you are and you want to come into that space, then most definitely the feminine sales strategy sessions are back. If you want one of those feminine sales strategy sessions, they are $247. Okay, you can get a recliner affirming afterpay. You would have to DM me the word session. If you DM me the word session, I'm going to assume you are prepared to pay for the session. When you get paid for the session, you're going to get an email immediately, and it's going to give you that quiz in there. Not the quiz that Kendra took for Monetize Like a Muse, because that's a different one, but the quiz that's going to tell you where your sales blocks are, okay, and tell you exactly what you've been doing and how you've been blocking the money in your business. When you get on the call with me, we're gonna remove that block and we're gonna get to the money. Okay, those sessions, again, like I said, are $247. When you DM me the word session, I'm going to send you the link, assuming, like I said, that you're ready to pay. Once you pay, you're gonna get that email, but understand that those session links, if you send me session, that link is going to expire in an hour. So if you don't get it, because I'm not a person that likes to play, because if you in my inbox, I think you're serious. I only work with serious women. I only work with women who really ready to get to it. If you're not ready to get to it, I'm not the one for you. Seriously, don't waste your time. Don't waste mine. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. I'm not going to let you waste mine. So if you want a session, click the link in the bio so I can give you your feminine design sales strategy session so that you can start making more money. If you are not making 5 figures a month in your business, you're not making the money you need to make. So if you want to get scaled to 5 figures a month in your business, schedule that session. Okay, we're going to give you the tools to be able to do it. At that point, it's on you to execute. All right, I'm gonna give you a clear pathway. So like I said, DM me the word session. Those are $247. You can get a recliner firm and afterpay. But yeah, let's see. Do you have a course that teaches me how to revamp myself? Yes. You can click the link in the bio and get the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. The Magnetic Wealth Blueprint is about $200. You can get that with recliner firm and afterpay as well. And it breaks down everything that supports you in activating your magnetism in regard to wealth by getting you to your core. Okay? So most definitely that can support you. Thank you, Rocky, so much for sharing too. I come back because your community is very encouraging. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm so excited for my session next week. Yes, me too, girl. Me too. Okay, so listen, y'all. Any questions about anything that we talked about today? Because specifically, like I said, we talked about what it looks like, or when your attraction is performed, not embodied, what that looks like, okay? And how to position yourself to get in a state of embodiment. Because here's the thing. But I say this all the time, excuse me. Your first $10,000 in business is mindset and shadow work. Your $10,000 to $100,000 is inner child work, identity shift, and I can't think of my last one off the top of my head right now. Oh, I can't think. I'm gonna come back to it. $100,000 to 5 is gonna equal vulnerability, nervous system recalibration, and when I say vulnerability, I'm talking about more so in mirror work. Allowing yourself to fully be seen. You have to expose yourself to yourself before you get exposed by the world. I'm trying to tell you something without telling you something. You have to expose yourself to yourself and correct yourself and govern yourself before the world exposes you to the world. Because if you notice, the way that the enemy operates is that the enemy waits until you get into a very high position, because the fall needs to be long, hard. The fall needs to be public. The fall needs to be everybody see it and feel it, okay? That's how it goes. Because the reason why the fall has to be like that, because it needs to be soul crushing. It needs to make you question your existence. I'm telling you, because if you're questioning your existence at the bottom, that means it's a higher chance that you're going to what? Yourself. And guess what? When you yourself, you don't meet your assignment, you miss the mark, and because you miss the mark, that is the sin, right? So that's the whole goal. The goal is for the op to make you your own enemy so that you steal your own joy, kill your own confidence, and eventually self-destruct, because then you don't commit to the overall mission. Y'all have to really see it for what it is. Okay? So yeah. Any questions? Okay? Any questions before I get ready to go? Those are your options. Send me the word session, 247 for a session. Send me, you can click the link in the bio to get access to the courses, Monetize Like a Muse or the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. And if you're interested in learning more about the Muse Activator, which is the 6-week program, DM me the word Muse, okay? Understand it is a $9.97. Don't DM me if you ain't ready to really read it. And I already told you what the price point is, okay? But DM me the word Muse if you're ready to start the program. Because there have been women who come in and say, hey, I'm finna start right now. So if you want to start the program, send me the word activate. And I also want to say this too. Watching my content, you will easily be able, you can manifest. Watching my content, you definitely can do that. But sustaining, you're not going to change your life by watching my content. I'm just going to keep it real with you. You'll be able to add better experiences. But until you get in my spaces behind a paywall, until you invest in yourself, you're not going to understand the process. And the process is what's needed in order to progress. Okay? So, yeah. Makes a difference. I am new. I want to unblock and activate. Which program do you get? The Muse Activator. The Muse Activator. If you already are in a space where you're making some money already, the Muse Activator is your spot. Even if it's you working in a current 9-to-5 and you're coming out of that in transition, the Muse Activator. If you're trying to figure out how to start making the money in a way that is authentic to you, Monetize Like a Muse. You still get, the key thing is in both of those, you get access to me, and that's what you want. You want access to me so I can hear exactly what it is personally you need, and I can give you personally what you need. Because listening to me in this space, yes, it's very powerful information, but yes, it's very wide range information versus you coming to work with me. So if we're working on trying to make more money and trying to make money, we're trying to follow the aligned monetization path for our life, Monetize Like a Muse. If you're trying to activate your inner muse so more people invest in you, okay, intimacy-wise and income-wise, then come see, DM me the word activate. That's where you start. Okay? I wish I had found your page 30 days ago, ladies. Invest. Listen, it makes a difference. I wish I had known what I had known when I was 20-something. I'm 41 now. I had to learn very hard lessons. And these lessons and these patterns and these things I've learned from these lessons have supported me in being able to change women's lives for the better. Like I said, women have reversed serious health conditions after working with me. Women have gotten their cycles together, from working back. Because I used to have a 21-year issue with the cycle. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and all those symptoms are gone. And I didn't have to take their medicine to do it, okay? So a lot of women have had different things. Women have attracted better partners. Women have come into a space where they have made more money. So what you want is very much so attainable. You just have to be an energetic match for these things, okay? All right, y'all, I'm not seeing any questions. Thank y'all so much for your comments and your time. Happy Feminine Friday. Click the link in the bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yes, this is going to go up on my channel. Share this. The only thing I ask, if you're coming over to my channel, share the amazing information and content with other women who can use it. And because I want the women who are ready to activate their inner muse to come on over, okay? And I know this not going to be everybody, and I'm okay with that. But the ones who ready, we finna go. Okay. All right, y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend. Self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship, and you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself. So you should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve that, right? Unless you don't believe you deserve that. And I'm not here to argue with your perception of self, but I would hope that you would see yourself in the way that the Most High does see you. Okay. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have an amazing, amazing week.